Awesome time to be alive. Nothing really specific here. It's just always a good thing to be alive. But we are in the midst of a World Cup, and group play is wrapping up after Saturday, June 27th. The National Basketball Association held its annual amateur draft last night, and I'll pick a couple of big winners from the draft and discuss a few big trades that went down as well. Then I'll move over to the Diamond, where I'll discuss the power rankings as we approach the trade deadline in Major League Baseball. We have a great show lined up for you. My name is David, and welcome back to JetKoa Sports. We open with the biggest tournament in the world, the World Cup. Messi dropped 2 more goals to bring his tournament total to 5 and his career World Cup total to 18 goals. Kylian Mbappé netted another 2 goals for France to bring his tournament tally to 4. And Cristiano Ronaldo also recorded a brace for Portugal as he shows the world his tournament days are not quite over yet. The big names are showing up and showing out this year, and all of America seems to be enjoying it. All 3 host nations have clinched their appearance in the knockout round, and Bosnia even has a shot to advance as well. Brazil ended up sealing the Group C lead as Morocco had to come back against Haiti to join Brazil in the knockout stages. I think Morocco came into the game with Haiti thinking about trying to score as many goals as possible to close the gap with Brazil in the group. And the change of tactics led to Haiti putting up a strong fight, scoring 2 goals against a very good defensive Morocco team. So I think they changed their tactics, and it really screwed with them. Ultimately, Morocco won that game 4-2, but it was not as easy as people thought it would be. Moving to Group D, the U.S. is already moving on, but Australia and Paraguay meet today to decide the second-place finisher in Group D. This is a tough one to predict, and the game will have aired by the time you see me in this video, but I will pick Australia to advance. I think their defense is strong enough to squeak out a victory over Paraguay. Paraguay might have a slightly better offense, but in this evenly matched of a game, I will go with the defense and Australia. You could let me know in the comments how wrong I was, since you'll be watching this after the fact. Germany is also locked into the knockouts, and I like Ivory Coast to advance in the second position from that group as well. That is Group E. Group F should see Holland and Japan advance, but Japan is playing Sweden right now, and that is a tough matchup for both squads. The winner will advance from that group, and a tie would put Japan in the knockout stages over Sweden, but Sweden would be in a good position to get one of the 8 third-place qualifying nods into knockout stage. Group G, another tough group to predict, but I'm going to go with Egypt and Belgium advancing. I think Iran drew a tough Game 3 matchup with Egypt, and it's going to send them home after group play. Iran, though, great tournament. Like, no joke. Group H belongs to Spain, and I desperately want to put Capo Verde in the knockout round with them. Uruguay takes on Spain in Game 3, so Capo Verde has a very good shot at advancing with a win over Saudi Arabia. Or a tie. A tie would advance, too, if Uruguay loses to Spain. So, yeah, if Uruguay wins, then Capo Verde needs to win, and they need to outscore Uruguay as well. So there's a couple of different scenarios where Cabo Verde does advance, which would be absolutely amazing. They have a country of 500,000 people. Be absolutely amazing. It's going to be exciting football for sure, watching who does advance from these groups. Group I will push forward Norway and France. They are already locked into the 1 and 2 spot. Both have been the class of Group I, and both look like tough outs in the knockout round. I would not want to play either one of them early on. Group J belongs to Messi, and probably Austria moving on as the number 2. Austria will play Algeria in Game 3 with the winner advancing. A tie would push Austria into the number 2 spot and advancing to knockout. Group K, led by Colombia, and I like them to advance with Portugal. They're actually playing each other in the final game of group play. So, but Portugal is locked in at the number 2 seed, so both those teams are advancing. Technically, Portugal could lose by 3 or 4 goals, while Congo wins by 4 goals, and then that would cause some chaos, and Congo would advance over Portugal. That's extremely, like, the odds of that happening are incredibly low. I like Colombia and Portugal to advance. And I think Portugal beats Colombia, so Portugal would ultimately win the group if that happened. But either way, again, Portugal and Colombia advancing. And finally, we have Group L with England and Ghana at the top, but not by much. This group could play out in a few ways, but I like England to beat Panama and lock the top spot down. Then Ghana plays Croatia, with the winner advancing. A tie would push Ghana through to knockouts, but leave Croatia in a good spot to advance as a number 3 seed. And, in fact, Ghana would also be in a good spot to advance if they finish third. Remember, 8 of the 12 groups will advance their number 3 seed in addition to the top 2 seeds. And I think a total of 4 points during group play should get you in as a number 3 spot into the knockout rounds. Plenty of teams still have legitimate chances as we round out the group play, game 3s. I think Group G, Group H, Group I, and Group K will not advance a third-place team, so that's something to kind of start looking at. The other 8 groups will advance 3 teams each. And we have set the first knockout game. Sunday, June 28th, South Africa will take on host nation Canada in California, which is a weird sentence. I did ask this at the beginning of the tournament, and I think it is more relevant now that we do have an answer. Why aren't the knockout game locations decided ultimately by when we get to that game, right? Canada is moving on to the knockout stage. They should still be playing in Canada as a host nation. They should get that benefit. And then if the 2 host nations play each other, then you could host that game in the third host nation's country, so no one gets that advantage. Like, that's something that they should factor into. Like, being a host nation is a huge benefit. And so, like, that should carry out throughout the entire tournament. Should at least consider it. Moving to the NBA. The Spurs considered life with another rim protector and Wemby protector and what it would look like, and they jumped at that during the draft, drafting 2 centers in Jaden Quintance and Terrence Reed Jr. The Spurs' weakness was exploited badly by the New York Knicks in the NBA Finals. Wemby is asked to do so much, and the Spurs need somebody to help him rebound, to help him defend. They also need an enforcer to help prevent other teams from bullying Wemby. In the draft, they got 2 guys that should develop alongside Wemby and do exactly what they drafted them to do. Add legitimate size and strength to an ascending Spurs team. Jaden Quintance could be defensively elite. He's 6'9", 250 pounds, and has a 7'5" wingspan. Put him next to Wemby, and good luck scoring over those guys. Jaden can finish at the rim too, and he may be able to carve out a nice roll down low so Wemby can move around and do his thing. Jaden can jump, and he does have some quickness, so he may be able to guard multiple positions coming off of pick and rolls. Could be very helpful. Wemby can obviously do that as well. The knock on Jaden was his injury history, and though it is a serious concern, the upside of Jaden and Wemby together was the right gamble here. Especially at, pick 20, wherever they got him. And then doubling down, they went with Terrence Reed to play immediately. Jaden Quintance is coming off that injury, so he's not going to play immediately. Terrence Reed can play immediately. He's got a 7'4" wingspan that he's bringing to the paint party. He can score a bit more than Jaden. He rebounds well, and he is strong enough to hold his ground down low. He's a good screener. He passes well out of the low block. Like, the Spurs nailed their biggest need through the draft. And now they can look to continue building continuity for the next few years. I really like the Spurs draft. But that is almost always the case with San Antonio drafts. They do a fantastic job scouting, drafting, developing. It's a class act organization. Oklahoma City had a decent draft as well, picking up Ade Mara with pick number 12 and Bennett Sturts with number 16. Mara is 7'3" and can finish at the rim. He will have many battles against Wemby over the next 5 years, and he can play inside. While Chet Holmgren seemed pretty scared to go inside against Wemby in the Western Conference Finals. And it actually may fit nicely that both big men could play at the same time. If Wemby has another big beside him in Jaden Quintance or Terrace Reed, then OKC can break those guys up by spacing Holmgren out to the arc, making somebody chase him. It's a good move. The chess games between OKC and San Antonio will be must-watch TV for years to come. And then OKC got Bennett Sturts, a reliable three-point shooter that should be able to add scoring to the second unit immediately. OKC had injuries in the Western Conference Finals, and I literally said it. When Dylan Harper was hurt, I was like, the Spurs are done, and then Dylan Harper came back quicker than expected, and Oklahoma City lost 2 players, and it was like immediate injury swing, and OKC was down. But that wasn't the ultimate story. Ultimately, they had no answer for Wemby, and their offense got stagnant when Shea didn't handle the ball or Shea was on the bench. These were great picks for OKC. And then they went and added Otega Owe. Otega is an explosive athletic wing that has improved his overall shooting. He is strong. He can play through contact. He also defends physically, and he wants to guard the best player on the court. Like, he's searching them out. He could develop into a nice wing for them in a couple years. Like, that's a great kind of risk pick there. Can anybody match San Antonio or OKC out west? It's going to be hard. Minnesota is trying. They're making trades to try to keep pace and to prove to Ant-Man, Anthony Edwards, that they can contend for titles up in Minnesota. The Wolves sent Julius Randle and the 28th pick in this year's draft to Brooklyn in a 3-team trade, also involving Chicago. In return, the Wolves received the number 33 pick from the Nets and forward Mo Gay from Chicago. Trading Julius shed serious salary from Minnesota's payroll and kept them from paying towards a luxury tax. Mo is not Julius Randle. He does have a strong defensive game, and he can score at the rim. He can guard smaller guards, and at 6'11", like, he can handle some of the bigger guys too. But he's only 200 pounds, 210 pounds, so he will get pushed around on the low block. He really needs to bulk up, work on his discipline, improve his shooting. So, no Julius Randle, and they're going to have a big gap there. And then Minnesota went and traded Naz Reid and a bunch of picks and pick swaps to Charlotte for LaMelo Ball. And this one was a huge head-scratcher for me. First, I liked the Hornets' young team and what they were building. I still like what the Hornets are building, but LaMelo is a talent, so losing him will hurt the Hornets in the short term. But they got a lot in return. And LaMelo has injury issues, so it may have been too good a deal to pass up. And Charlotte also has guards ready to take his place. Kobe Wright is expected to sign an extension now that LaMelo is gone, and Kobe played well after coming over in a midseason trade. So I guess ultimately I understand why Charlotte did it, but why Minnesota? You just traded Randle and now Naz Reid. So the Wolves have very little in terms of front court minutes. Rudy Gobert will be man in the middle, and he's going to be sitting there hoping for the emergence of some unknown big on the roster. Yeah, the backcourt will be one of the best in the NBA. LaMelo and Ant-Man will be an extremely dangerous duo. Io is also a key guard for the Wolves, but playing all 3 of those guys together forces Jaden McDaniels to the number 4 spot. And I think McDaniels loses a lot of value in that spot. He excels at switching onto smaller guards and punishing them. Now he's going to be, stuck with the task of facing the bigger guys down low. And he may need to track the bigs that can stretch the floor so Gobert can protect the paint. That means McDaniels is guarding Cooper Flagg. Jaden is guarding Wemby. Jaden is guarding Anthony Davis. That will test his defensive prowess all year long. And I'm not going to get too much into the Giannis trade, but I do want to remind people that I said he would go to Miami over Boston based on what the Bucks will want in return. Miami always made more sense because of the draft picks they could include. The Bucks have a dead money situation, and building around Jaylen Brown is not a better option than building around Giannis. NBA trades are popping up left and right, but nothing will be as intense as the Major League Baseball trade deadline in July. The Dodgers remain in the top position on the power rankings. They have extreme talent, and I'm tired of saying that. Let's put it into perspective, though. Kyle Tucker was signed to a 3-year deal worth $180 million, an average of $60 million per. Kyle is having the worst season of his professional career across batting average, on-base percentage, slugging percentage. Awful. And he's injured right now. Yet, the Dodgers have the best record in baseball. There's only like 2 or 3 teams in baseball that could get so little from a $60 million player and still compete for championships. Now, even when the Dodgers overspend, they are just fine. Milwaukee jumps to number 2 spot, and I think they are the biggest challenger to the Dodgers in the NL. With Brandon Woodruff back and looking strong as ever, the Brewers have the best 3-headed rotation in baseball. The Yankees starting 5 is sick, but Milwaukee's top 3 are deadly. The Miz, Jacob Misiorowski, Kyle Harrison, and Brandon Woodruff should dominate in the playoffs. Atlanta comes in at number 3, and they are starting to feel all of their injuries. Hopefully they can get back some pitching pieces, and Drake Baldwin comes back into form. Atlanta has the talent, but they need to get healthy. Number 4 belongs to the New York Yankees. They have the best starting 5 in rotation in baseball, and they should finish with home field advantage in the AL. They will get Aaron Judge back, and he will hit again. And I think this Yankee team is ready to avenge their World Series loss to the Dodgers a couple years ago. Let's hope the Brewers do not ruin the party. And then bringing it up the rear is the Philadelphia Phillies. It isn't always sunny in Philadelphia, but it has been more so lately. The Phillies have the talent, but it looked like age was finally catching up to them. Well, they have turned back the clock again, and if they go add Tarek Skubal to make a final push with this core, then watch out. A Phillies rotation with Sanchez, Wheeler, and Skubal would be better than the Brewers' big 3. That makes the Phillies now the scariest team in the postseason if they go trade for Skubal. In the AL, we're coming down to, I think, the Rays, Mariners, or Yankees as the teams to advance from the AL to the World Series. We're still months away from that, but that's how it's playing out. Like, those really seem like the only 3 legitimate contenders in the AL. Now, a hot team at the end of the season could change my gut feeling, but I don't think so. Not in the AL. Then in the NL, it looks like it's coming down to the Dodgers, Brewers, Braves, and Phillies. The trade deadline will obviously change some feelings, but I think this should come down to an amazing postseason with historical pitching performances from multiple guys. Please drop a note in the comments talking football, basketball, baseball, or just to say hello. Remember to subscribe, and have a great weekend, y'all.